Hey crypto friends, my name is Garrett, and for those of you who are new to the channel, I am a crypto day trader who loves helping other people with their trading, hence why I've got over 50 educational trading videos here on my channel here in my technical analysis playlist here. So this last week I ended up doing a super fun trading challenge that I don't normally do, and the results were better than expected. For this challenge, I basically traded crypto for just 1 week with just $100 per trade, simply to show and prove to beginners that you do not need big money right away to make money trading crypto. All right. Now, before we actually go ahead and get started, for those of you who love trading crypto and would like to try out the same exchange that I use on a daily basis to trade crypto futures, feel free to go ahead and try out the Blowfin exchange here with the link in the video description down below this video. And also, I recently started a premium crypto trading education Discord server as well, so feel free to check it out with the other link in the video description down below this video as well, and you will get a free 3-day trial into our server to see if our server is simply a good fit for you or not. All right, guys, so here's the thing. All right, I am personally one of those traders who I have a different trading strategy than most people. All right, my trading strategy is I like to be I'm a very consistent trader. Okay, I don't aim for 100% plus trades on a regular basis. What I typically do is I focus on a small daily percentage on a daily basis. That way I'm able to be consistent on a regular basis, and I'm able to repeat that on a regular every single day basis. All right. So on any given day, I am typically aiming for and shooting for 15% profits on any given day. All right. Now, this helps me to be able to be consistent and make profits on a literal daily basis, rather than, going through the anxieties of being in trades for, one or multiple days at a time and having to go to sleep at night not knowing if I'm going to end up getting liquidated or not. So I simply focus on 15% a day, and I do very well with it. So you're going to see a lot in this challenge that a lot of my percentages that I make throughout these trades are right around the 15% mark. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the myth real quick here that this video is kind of all about. There's a big myth out there in crypto trading, among beginners who think that they can't make money trading with just $100 per trade. All right. Now, you can make good money with just using $100 per trade. All right. And I proved that in this little mini trading challenge that I did right here. Okay. So what I'm gonna be doing here is I'm basically gonna be showing you my P&L cards, or my profit cards from the exchange, to prove that I did indeed make these profits. I'm gonna be showing you the charts and the setups that I traded, and I'm going to be showing you this trading log right here on the screen as well. It's simply to talk about how I traded each day. All right. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over the trading log here real quick. All right. So I started this challenge on July 8th. And it ran through, I pretty much traded, I ended up getting enough data for this just within 3 days of trading. The first trade was a short on Hype, and then the second one was a short on Raydium, and then I did a long on Pengu, and I did a short on Pengu, and then I did another short on Pengu, and then I did another short on Ray. Okay, now here's the thing: I trade both directions. All right, I'm not one of those people who sits here and I'm like, oh, I'm never going to short the market, or I'm only going to long the market. No, that's the thing. I'm a trader. My goal is to make money. My goal is not to just sit here and wait for longs to set up and just only trade longs and that's it. All right, I would never make money that way. So you will see me in a lot of my videos. I do a lot of shorting and I do longing as well. All right. So why not profit from both directions if you can make money in both directions, right? So as you guys can clearly see, let's see here. I ended up using $100 for margin on every single one of these trades. I used 20x leverage, which is about what I typically normally use on any given trade. I'm right around within the range of 10 to 20x, and which made the overall position size of each trade roughly around $2,000. As you guys can clearly see here, I got my exit prices, and then you can see what I made from each trade as far as percentages go, and what I made as far as dollars go. All right. So the first trade, let's go ahead and get to it real quick. So the first trade, let's take a look at this setup right here. What I ended up doing was this was a this was a short on Hype. All right, as you guys can clearly see right in here, I shorted Hype at 38.27 and I exited at 37.95, which made me 16.41% or $16.39. All right. So as you guys can clearly see, what I did here is I entered the short at the open of this candle as I saw continued downward pressure and a failure to go above the short-term resistance. All right, now this red line right here would have been the short-term resistance, and then because I am a price action trader pretty much, I ended up waiting for... Clearly, we had a bunch of resistance all the way up here at this short-term resistance area. So I waited for the next candle to open. The next candle opened, and it ended up going downwards, creating that downward pressure. And it ended up going back up, as you can see from the long wick right here. Now, normally this would signify that, you know, bulls might be gaining momentum again to start pushing it even higher. But the next candle actually opened up in the red. So I took my shot and I ended up entering the trade right up in here, and I ended up riding it all the way down to the moving average right in here because I thought that I thought that price action was going to test the moving average once again. And sure enough, it ended up going down here. Ended up going all the way down to the moving average and actually past the moving average, and I ended up taking profit right down in here, which ended up creating... Let me go to my file again, which ended up creating this overall 16.41% profit right there. All right. So now let's move on to trade number 2. Okay. So trade number 2 was a short on Raydium. All right. I shorted Raydium at the 50% level of the previous downward candle down to the moving average. All right. So what you'll notice in a lot of my trading is I love to use the moving average. I love to use the 7-period moving average because I typically am a type of trader who likes to trade candlestick by candlestick. All right. So when price action ended up going up to the 50% level of the previous downward candle, it tells me that, you know, bulls are trying to push it back up again, but more than likely that's not going to end up happening, and price is going to end up coming back down again, which obviously, as you guys can clearly see, it did. It ended up happening, and I rode it all the way down to this support level here that we created back in here. All right. So that was trade number 2, and I ended up profiting 18.33%. All right. And then we've got trade 3. All right, so we got trade 3, which was a long on Pengu. All right, now this one was a little bit risky. All right, this one was a little bit risky, but I did play it out. All right, so what ended up happening here was we had this very short-term minor resistance level right here, and I was not going to long it until price action crossed that short-term resistance level right there. All right. So we ended up crossing it, so I ended up going long right there, and I ended up basically going all the way up to this other area right here. As you can see at the top of this wick, that's where the top of this wick went as well, all right, because that was another short-term resistance area. So I held it all the way up until there, and that is what ended up creating the overall 20% profit right there on that Pengu long. Now, we go back and we go to trade number 4, and I did another Pengu trade. This time I shorted the drop below the moving average. All right. Now, as you guys can clearly see once again, I trade the moving averages a lot. So here I ended up shorting it right when price action crossed the moving average and tried to short it all the way down to this Fibonacci level right down in here. All right. And that ended up creating a 19% profit right there for me. Now we'll go to trade number 5. And what do we got here? We have got another short that I ended up trading. I ended up shorting the Fibonacci level right here because I look at that as a support level. So we broke that support level because it failed right there. So I ended up shorting at that level, and I ended up shorting it down to this previous low that this big candle wick created right down in here, which that trade ended up creating a 29% gain right there. All right. So that was another nice one. And then the last one I have is this short as well. The previous candle was an indecision candle. All right, you can clearly see we ended up going up really high. We created that top up there, and then we had an indecision candle, all right, which we hadn't had in a while. So I ended up shorting it all the way down to retest, because I knew it was going to end up retesting the moving average once again. And as you guys can clearly see, that's exactly what happened right there. So I shorted it from here all the way down to the moving average right there. Now, I ended up profiting 16.78% on that one. So as you guys can clearly see, I do a lot of trading with the moving average, all right? With my moving average right here, it's very, very simple for me to do. It's the strategy that works best for me personally, and I love using this strategy, all right? Now, here's the thing. I will say this, all right? It is definitely annoying as hell, and I completely understand with you guys. It is annoying as hell to trade with small capital, like $100 per trade. But here's the thing. Here's the good thing for it, okay? The more consistent that you get with winning, the more that your account will build your overall account, all right? The more that you trade and the more you consistently win on a regular basis, even with just $100 per trade, the more your account will grow, and the more that your account grows, the more your overall trading account grows. And once your trading account starts growing more and more and more, you'll start being able to enter trades with even more and more money as time goes on, all right? Now, before I go ahead and wrap up this video, if you guys enjoyed this video and you feel like you got some decent value out of it, please be sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the like button below the video as well to help me out. And with that said, guys, for those of you guys who stuck around and watched this entire video throughout the whole thing, thank you guys for watching, and I appreciate all of you.